What is up, my people? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be posting a video that's quite different from my usual content. It's not exactly MMA news per se, but it's a video that quite literally inspired me to make this channel. It's something I've wanted to make for probably about a year now, because I would say about a year back is when, I don't know, my feelings that I'm going to express in this video started to really come to the surface. And I just feel like it's important for somebody on this space to talk about these issues, because what I'm about to bring up today is, I don't know, just very important to the MMA scene in whole. So let me just get right to it. I want to be talking about the MMA guru's obsession with hating on Israel Adesanya. Now, before I get straight into my points, I just want to make it very clear, I'm a fan of both the MMA guru and Israel Adesanya. Always have been, probably always will be, unless they do something fucking crazy that does not sit with me. So I just don't want this to be coming off as like a hit piece, or like I'm trying to create any type of commotion towards the MMA guru. I really just want to shine some light to the fact that he's created an extremely toxic space for Izzy haters. I'm starting to see people hopping on the bandwagon, coming to hate on Izzy, when in reality he's been one of the most dominant champions we've had in modern day UFC history. He's been a spectacular champion, in my opinion. Fights so frequently. We've seen him fight like 3 times every year for the past couple of years now, and at the highest level. So it's kind of fucking bizarre to me that hardcore MMA fans, some of the only people that cover this sport day in and day out, like Guru, people that are important to this community, are so willing to bash such a dominant champion with some points that I don't think are strong at all. So let's just get straight into those points. Guru's complaints. Now, let me get his complaints out of the way that I would agree with, or if not necessarily agree with, I could at least understand his perspective and where he's coming from. And that has to do with Israel being quote-unquote cringy, not enjoying what he posts on his socials, the way he dresses up, the way he speaks, etc. Back when Israel Adesanya was first getting a lot of hate from average UFC viewers, you know, the people that typically like to just put hatred out there, it was about these things. And I can see that. I can understand people not aligning with Israel having this type of personality, especially because a lot of people just aren't outgoing like that. That's just straight up how it is. That is a fact of reality. So a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable when they see somebody that is outgoing like that, because maybe they want to be like that. Maybe they don't as well, but this is how I feel on this subject. I can understand these points. Now, where it gets to shit that I just cannot agree with Guru, and it kind of makes me feel like he just wants to find any reason to hate on Israel, are these reasons that follow. He complains about Israel being wealthy growing up, talks about how he had a servant, just a lot of shit like that, which I don't understand the point he's trying to make. That because he didn't come up rough like a lot of other fighters, that we for some reason should take away from his accomplishments. To me, it almost adds more to his character. The fact that he's ended up such a great guy, such a great person to his team, to the sport, great competitor, all that. The list of positive things I could say about Israel go on. And the fact that he came from such a good upbringing just goes to show that stigma around, I don't know, typically rich kids that are born wealthy, they don't understand life the same way average folk do. And I get that, because I'm an average bottom of the barrel guy. But even I still can appreciate Israel Adesanya and where he's come from. And I don't think it takes away from any of his accomplishments at all. So that's where I stand on that. And now for his next, one of his biggest complaints that he's loved to make videos about because it garners views. Adesanya being on peds / growing a boob. I'm not going to get into it too much, because just like MMA Guru, just like majority of people talking about this online, I am not qualified. I don't know enough. I know what the fuck I'm told. And for a lot of you MMA fans, you don't even think that what we're being told by people like USADA and people that are in positions of power that oversee these things, you don't even believe what the fuck they're saying. So why are you going to believe some dude online? I don't get it. It's sus for sure, I guess, that he grew a titty. It's a little bit weird, but he's never popped for anything in kickboxing or MMA. So that's what we have to lean on at the end of the day. We have to lean on the facts that we have. One of the facts is that he has a titty, but another one is that he's never tested positive. It's just inconsistent, and there are other ways that you can develop gyno. So for somebody as big as Guru, which with as many fans and as much attention as he garners daily, it's odd that he is going to outright call Izzy a cheater and all of these different things and accuse him of these things with no proof, aside from him having the titty. It's frustrating to see, because Guru is clearly an intelligent guy. He clearly thinks about things, and sometimes I just feel like he lets the want for views, the want for attention overshadow his morals. And I mean, I don't know Guru like that, so I can't speak on what he thinks, but I can speak on what I see from what he puts out, and that's the impression he gives me. And as somebody who also is intelligent and thinks a lot about these types of things, to me it comes off so strongly as blank hatred, because he knows that there's a whole group of people that will support that hatred, and that's all he needs. And it's disappointing to see. Now, for those of you that may disagree with the point I just made, let me provide a little bit of evidence into Guru's insight. Recently, he was trashed by a lot of MMA fighters following Merab's victory over Petr Yan, because he did, typical Guru shit, was raging, going crazy. He loves Petr Yan. He can't stand Merab. He can't stand the fact that Merab is going to gatekeep, yada, yada, yada. I actually agree with a lot of his points, to be fair. And I've always known that Guru is how Guru is. So when MMA fighters are going at him, calling him racist, calling him all this shit, I actually was kind of disappointed in those fighters, because if they had just taken an hour out of their day to go look at Guru's channel and really get a read on how he feels and how he thinks and how he acts and what he's doing as a character and what he's genuinely doing as himself, then they wouldn't have had those reactions. They kind of made themselves look silly. But what I want to emphasize here is Guru's reaction to the fan base, to MMA fighters coming out and trashing him. It was a lot of hate at once. And he folded. He folded, in my opinion. He posted videos, multiple videos afterwards, defending himself, starting fights with some of the fighters, some of the people that were talking about him, because he didn't like the hate. And that opened my eyes up to the fact that he definitely posts things that he does not align with for views and attention. Which is whatever, it's fucking YouTube, I get it. But for somebody that acts like he's so straight to the point, says it how it is edgy, but he doesn't give a fuck, for somebody that's like that, to purposely spread misinformation, it's frustrating. Now on to some of his criticisms that have a foot to stand on, at least. Maybe not the strongest, especially if the way you score MMA fights is different than him. So let me elaborate. He says that Israel Adesanya is a boring leg kicker decision fighter, which on the surface, I guess you can paint him as that, and a lot of people will, and that's whatever. But if you really look into it, he's freezing up world-class talent that fight everybody else on the roster and don't get frozen up like that. So automatically, how can you not respect that as a fan of combat sports and as a fan of mixed martial art? As somebody that covers this shit, watches every card every weekend, across multiple organizations, how the fuck are you just going to bundle up Adesanya's skill set and all of his performances as a boring leg kicker decision fighter, somebody that was more exciting early on, which doesn't even make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. His Paulo Costa fight was not that long ago. It's after he got the belt, and that was one of his best performances to date. His fight with Alex Pereira, the third one in MMA, was a great fight. That was a great fight, all the way up until the finish. It's baffling to me, and I think if anybody ever called him out on these points publicly, besides just going into his chat and getting banned or getting humiliated by his fan base, then I think he would stop and think about it and maybe alter what he's posting and what he's putting out there in the future. The last major issue Guru has with Izzy that I'm going to be covering today is he constantly says that he lost the rematch to Whitaker, which, watching that fight live, it could not be more apparent to me that Israel Adesanya won that fight. Everybody I watched it with agreed, and a lot of them aren't even fans of Izzy like that. A lot of them like Robert Whitaker more and wanted him to win. So watching Guru's reaction to that shit live, back when that fight happened, and seeing the tirade he's gone on since, saying that Whitaker was robbed, for somebody that bitches about fighters using the word robbery, he throws it out there so fucking often when it's something he doesn't agree with or supposedly doesn't agree with. It's crazy. I don't believe deep down that he thinks these things about Adesanya. I don't even believe that he thinks he lost to Whitaker. I think it's a character he's playing up, but I don't think he realizes the repercussions that character has and the toxic spaces he's created in our community towards fighters like Izzy. It's frustrating. Obviously, I'm not fucking Izzy's lawyer or some shit. And again, I'm not here to bring down the MMA guru. I'm just here to shed some light on my opinions on this subject. So if you guys agree with anything I've been saying today, let me know down below. If you disagree, let me know down below. I'm always down to hear other sides. But if you're just going to be disrespectful and fucking out of pocket because you hate Izzy, fuck out of here. Like, I don't need that shit. And I ain't a bitch, so I ain't going to put up with it. But if you guys fuck with the content and you like this different type of style of video, give me a like, give me a sub. I'll catch y'all. Wait, actually one last thing that I forgot. Yo, Lucas Tracy, I know that your video just blew up where you hopped on that bandwagon and you talked about Israel Adesanya is the villain, Alex Pereira is the hero, yada yada. That shit is so fucking corny, dude. I get that you just got views and now you're gonna start posting a bunch of videos like that. Don't hop on the bandwagon, man. Be better. I'll catch y'all.